Welcome back. We are looking at 5 tools today that are based in self-compassion, and they shift your inner voice. So if Monday helped you understand what self-compassion does in your brain, today we are going to practice it. So these tools are grounded in Dr. Kristin Neff's self-compassion research and Paul Gilbert, who I mentioned on Monday. It is also looking at his research on compassion-focused therapy, which was developed in the year 2000. So we are totally keeping this practical. There's no scripts to memorize. There's just some small experiences and small shifts that you can do in real time. So the first tool is based on Kristin Neff's 3-part model of self-compassion that we talked about on Monday. So it's called the self-compassion pause. So when something goes wrong, we can pause and say, this is hard. And suffering or going through difficult times is part of being human. And in light of all that, may I respond, or may I talk kindly to myself right now. So you can see in that example, this integrates those 3 components: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. And that little practice can interrupt shame before it amps up and gets escalated. So tool 2 is from Compassion Focused Therapy, Paul Gilbert's work, and it is called Change the Tone, Not the Standard. So it looks at the threat system versus the soothing system that he studies. So instead of, I can't believe I did that, we can try, I didn't handle that very well. What would help me do better next time? So it's the same accountability, right? It's just less threat activation. So when you change how you talk about a mistake that you're encountering or something you did, you can activate the soothing system instead of the threat system. So it's a really small example about how we tend to talk to ourselves, and when we change the tone, even though we have the same message, it makes a big difference. So it's an interesting thing. How many of us actually are good at doing that naturally? I think it's something we have to practice, me included, right? So I love it. It's like saying, I didn't handle that well. What would help me do better next time, right? There's some kindness in there. All right, tool number 3, hand on the heart reset. I love this one. So this is all about soothing your nervous system, okay? So placing your hand over your chest, I don't want to interrupt my little microphone, but placing your hand over your chest for 10 to 20 seconds. And research in self-compassion and compassion-focused therapy shows that warm physical touch increases oxytocin and lowers cortisol. So even a soothing touch that you are able to offer yourself is really helpful. When you do this, you're signaling safety to your nervous system. Tool number 4, write to yourself as a friend. So this comes from Kristin Neff's, I think it's called, the compassionate letter exercise. So if a friend made this mistake, what would you say to your friend? And then you actually write that, knowing that you're writing that to yourself. So this builds cognitive flexibility and it reduces over-identification. Tool 5 is separating behavior from identity. So instead of I am a failure, we can shift it to that behavior doesn't align with who I am or who I want to be. So your identity stays intact and you separate your identity from the behavior, knowing that behavior can change. So this protects you trusting in yourself, being able to trust yourself. So let's just remind ourselves that self-compassion is not about lowering expectations. It's about lowering unnecessary threat to our nervous system. And when we lower that threat, clarity increases. And the clarity we have can build steadiness, can make us feel more grounded, it can make us feel more confident. And confidence built on compassion can last. You got this. I will see you next week when we pivot a little bit to take a look at a 5-minute ritual that is really effective for building emotional stability. I'll see you soon. Take good care.